Hello there, I am Blunty, this is Dauntless. It launched yesterday out of a year's worth of open beta into a full-on multi-platform, cross-platform and even cross-save full release. That's right, you heard me, you can play it on PC, Xbox, PlayStation 4, you can switch between them seamlessly, your save and all your progress goes with you as you switch back and forth. It's awesome, and after singing its praises as a super fun, remarkably compelling and well thought out free-to-play multiplayer monster hunting loot grind game that I'm just loving to bits and have been for quite some time now, I'm pretty chuffed to see a metric butt-ton of other people come to the same conclusion. What is the conversion to imperial butt-tons? Now, I streamed several hours of it yesterday and will do again over the weekend, and although no multiplayer online game launches without issues, my experience of the full launch so far has been much better than I'd anticipated. Only a few crashes, only a few server issues, much smoother than I expected. This morning, while trying to record the footage for this video, it went a little bit rougher, but they're working on it. They're pretty communicative on Twitter and the Discord and stuff. But as a multi-platform game currently on PC, Xbox, PS4 and a Switch port to come, by the way, in the not too distant future, there comes the question, which platform is best? Now, I'm not a PC elitist. If I was, I wouldn't even own the stock and 4K versions of both consoles and two Switches, but it's not controversial to say that in almost every case of these multi-platform games, PC will be the best experience. It just is. It'll run best, you'll get a much wider choice of input methods, and gaming laptops being unbelievably good these days, you even get portability that console players can only dream of. Well, portability and quality. I mean, you can get portability with the Switch, but you make a few sacrifices. But if you're not a PC gamer or your PC is just a bit too hungry for upgrades to push today's games at their best, then maybe the console's the best option for you. It is still nice to see cross-platform, cross-save, cross-play multiplayer games like this exist. Just melting those barriers so we can all play and have fun together. Love it. Hey there, while we're on the subject of the superiority of PC gaming, I want to interject here with a little bit of a sponsored spot. Intel want to they want me to tell you about a thing. I should do a retake of that so the sponsor spot is completely smooth and professional, but I'm not gonna because that's not the type of influencer I am. But here's the segue. If you fancy yourself a content creator, an influencer on the rise, Intel are actually on the lookout for at the moment for, apparently they're not entirely satisfied with the likes of me and are looking for the next big person to step in front of me, and then they would get the sponsored spots potentially instead of me. I'm talking myself to have money here. Why did it take money from Intel to potentially have them find someone who they want to pay money to instead of... This is ridiculous. But they are paying me to tell you about this, so tell you about this, I'm gonna. They're on the lookout for how-to videos. That's the competition. They want you to make a how-to video, and I've got a couple of suggestions down here. You can do a how-to video on how to overclock a CPU. You can do a how-to video on how to build a gaming rig. You can do a how-to video on how to PC game and stream at the same time, or how to build a PC mod. All the nitty-gritties you need to know will be in the down below area, including a link to the full terms and conditions. But yeah, the basics of it is Intel are on the lookout for the next big deal content creator slash influencer slash someone who's going to take money directly out of my pocket and food out of my mouth. So if you think you're at least as good as I am, and let's face it, that's not a massively high bar, really. Then yeah, you should check it out. And not just for the opportunity to show me up, but they have a couple of prizes as well you might be very interested in. First prize, a custom PC valued at approximately 2,750 Australian dollars. A runner-up prize is a custom PC valued at approximately 2,100 Australian dollars. So, first and second prize together is more than $4,000 worth of custom PC, and if you don't care that much about eclipsing me, maybe you just want to come equal to me, come shoulder to shoulder with me as far as content creation and sponsorship deals go, you'd still get a fancy PC out of it. So, do the thing in my down below area. I wonder if that came out anything like Intel expected the sponsor spot to come out like. You roll the dice when you give Blunty money. Sometimes it's gold, sometimes it's just awkward. I made it awkward this time. But you paid attention. Back to the video. And as you're seeing, on consoles, even on the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, with all their extra grunt under the hood above the base models, you're still locked to a 30 frames per second experience. Womp 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 womp. And as someone who's been playing this in the beta at 60 frames per second for the past year, it's kind of hard to roll back to 30. Obviously, it just doesn't feel anywhere near as fluid, but I persevered, I put in a few hours and allowed myself to adjust to it, so I can get a proper feel for the game and how it is on consoles. And adjusting to the difference something like this massive difference in frame rate can make to the feel and the timings of movements and attacks of the game can be a bit tricky, so I'm not sure whether too many people will be switching back and forth that often. But I am happy to say, the game remains very playable on the consoles. I mean, I won't be moving my core gameplay over there, but at least I can happily recommend to my friends that the console experience is still worth playing if they've got no other option, or if it's just their preference for whatever reason. No judgment here. Console plebs. Now, looks-wise, it's all but indistinguishable. The particular art style of this game, sort of not quite cartoony, not quite realistic, sort of super sleek and stylized. You're not going to miss out on much if you have to roll back the textures or the shadow quality and things like that. And I expect when we get the Switch version, we will see more compromises on anti-aliasing and shadow quality and all that kind of stuff. But if you're just trying to decide on which console to play on, well, it's kind of a personal thing. They're much of a muchness, really. There's a few minor differences here and there between sort of how sharp or how soft they look with the super sampling versus the Xbox and nice and crispy. They run just about as well as each other, and the game feels the same between the two, really. I strongly prefer the Xbox controller personally, but the PS4 version did feel a bit smoother. I think maybe they have better frame pacing or something, but lacking the clever fancy pants tools that the folks at Digital Foundry use to do their deep dive, deeply nerdy looks at such comparisons, it's just a feeling I can communicate to you. I mean, it's free to play. If you've got both consoles, you can try it for yourself and find out which one feels best for you. But there is absolutely no doubt for me, if you are a PC gamer, even if you have to turn down the settings to get 60 frames per second, that's where you should be playing, in my opinion. It just has a much better feel. So fluid, so clean, so crisp. That said, once the Switch version does come out, and I've expressed this sentiment before, but if I have to compromise on things like texture quality and frame rate anyway to play on a console, I'll be gaming on the Switch, because you also, along with those compromises, you get the flexibility of going portable. So I'm expecting to spend my core time on PC and then enjoy from time to time curling up with the Switch while watching TV and doing some easy grind hunts for resources while in portable mode. Hopefully they do a decent port, fingers crossed on that. Meanwhile, as things stand today, you'll be happy to know, and as you've been seeing, outside of that 30 FPS cap, there's no major compromises made for console gamers. We all get the same basic experience. And while a field of view slider is sadly missing on consoles, as is common and is the case with many other graphical adjustments PC users get access to, I am very happy to tell you can turn off motion blur on all three of the platforms, and you should. Motion blur sucks. The PC I was running on, by the way, was a high mid-tier CPU teamed with a GTX 1080, but to see what the game runs like on lower, more commonly run power levels, I also installed it on my Hades Canyon Nook, which has an 8th gen Intel i7, sure, and a custom AMD graphics chipset that delivers GPU grunts somewhere between a GTX 1050 Ti and a GTX 1060, depending on the game and the settings and things like that. It's somewhere in between those two usually, though, fairly solidly. And at 1080p on this amazing tiny little 1-litre machine, which, by the way, you'll get the same kind of performance on the most common gaming laptops from the last year or two or three. You can expect to use high settings, maybe turn a couple down to medium, like view distance tends to help a bit for getting that frame rate up. You can absolutely sit comfortably at or near 60 frames per second. So there you go, what do you reckon? Have you played Dauntless yet? Are you just waiting to get to the weekend so you have time to really sink into it? Because you will sink a lot of time into this. If this is the kind of game you get into, you will sink time into this thing. It's so much fun to just relax into it and chill out into it and just soak into the loot grind. It's so much fun. You are also, of course, cordially invited to the streams over the weekend over on twitch.tv/bluntnate. But also, I'm interested if you would leave a comment. If you've come to the end of the video this far, you gotta leave a comment at this point, don't you? What platform are you going to be playing on? And do you wish you had a PC to play 60 frames a second on? Me personally, again, like I said before, I'm going to main on the PC and just use the Switch when that version comes out. Use the Switch for my little portable time. Funsies. Thanks for watching. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.